You're listening to the Job Applicant Perspective podcast with me, Sarah Springsteen Trumbull, founder and CEO of the Job Applicant Perspective, the first platform for anonymous reviews of job ads across the U.S. Here, I pull back the curtain on hiring tech, broken job boards, and the systems that shape your career. This is public education in the labor market, not jargon, not spin, just clarity, story, and signal. Think of it as your survival guide to the job market, minus the jargon, plus a little fire. A dive bar economist singing job market songs in a smoky pub. Let's get into it. Today, I want to speak about the issues of the applicant tracking system, often called ATS systems. Who's this for? This episode is for job seekers, especially hidden workers who keep getting ghosted. It's for small employers and local hiring managers, recruiters and town ops folks stuck in the middle, HR leaders and execs, HR tech builders, product managers, and data scientists, journalists and policymakers who care about fairness, researchers in economics and sociology, and students or career changers just trying to understand what's broken in hiring today. The promise of hiring tech applicant tracking system stats were introduced to make hiring easier. The pitch was simple: faster resume filtering, objective, bias-free evaluation, streamlined processes for HR teams. They sounded like magic, but the more we use them, the more the system cracked. Let's talk about 3 ways hiring tech backfired. Because the promise was speed, fairness, efficiency. The reality? Well, not so much. First up, inflexibility. Applicant tracking systems sort resumes with rigid yes or no filters. But here's the problem: human beings aren't binary. Think about it. You're answering a question at midnight after your shift, or while juggling kids in the backseat. The jargon? It might not even match your background. Now, compare that to walking into a doctor's office. Both the nurse and the doctor double check your answers. They don't just run with whatever you tapped out in the waiting room. But at one skimmed phrase, one mismatched term, and boom, you're screened out. Harvard Business School found 80% of employers admit they're filtering out qualified candidates because of mismatched resumes. For mid-skill jobs, that jumps to 94%. Instead of opening the pipeline, we made it brittle. We swapped nuance for black and white logic. Second, language mismatch. If your resume doesn't speak the right dialect, the keywords, the formatting, even the font, you're gone. Deleted before a human ever looks at you. A Wall Street Journal piece this year highlighted how outdated formatting alone can kill your shot. JobScan and LinkedIn keep warning. Tables, images, fancy headers, they confuse ATS. Your content just vanishes. And here's the kicker: no major ATS vendor has shown the receipts that this problem is fixed. Meanwhile, miscommunication is everywhere. One company filtered for plant experience and got flooded with botanists. What they meant was manufacturing plants. The system can't correct for human misfires, but it can and does reward people with the money and time to game it, which only deepens bias. Third, the efficiency illusion. The whole point was to speed up hiring. But look around. Unemployment lasts longer. Ghosting is up. Churn is higher. Back in 1990, the average stint of unemployment was 12 weeks. By 2022, it was over 22 weeks. Here's the vicious cycle. Job seekers send out more applications to break through filters. Employers lean harder on automation to deal with the flood. The cycle feeds itself. Even Amazon scrapped its own ATS after finding gender bias in the code. But here's the loophole. When a company knows its system is biased, they're liable. When they outsource to a black box vendor, suddenly they're shielded. That's why companies often hide which system they're using. To the applicant, it looks like the company's site. But really, you're walking through Workday Greenhouse, iSIMS, which raises the question, if you don't even know who's running the gate, how can you call it out? How do you ask for help? Zooming out, the Jevons paradox economists have a name for this, the Jevons paradox. The more efficient a tool seems, the more we use it. And sometimes we erase the gains entirely. Hiring tech made it easy to apply to hundreds of jobs, so people did. Employers then automated harder, and outcomes got worse. Who loses? Job seekers, millions of hidden workers filtered out. Employers facing signal breakdown instead of talent pipelines. Recruiters stuck between quotas and broken systems. What needs to change? So what do we need? Transparency, audits, feedback loops. Courts have affirmed the right to test algorithms for discrimination. That's a start. But the real fix is redesign. Verified candidate reviews, third-party audits, two-sided accountability can kill B&B. But for hiring, because here's the truth, tech didn't ruin hiring on purpose, but it made the market fragile, opaque, and wasteful. If we want hiring to work again, we need systems rooted in trust on both sides. That's exactly what we're building at the Job Applicant Perspective. Want to go deeper? Check out my full research on SSRN link in the show notes. And if you want to be part of the first wave of job seeker reviews, the beginning of restoring trust in hiring, join us at the Job Applicant Perspective. Stay sane out there. The gaslighting runs deep. My tool is clarity. And maybe, just maybe that could be yours too.